Trying to find a next spot for a show or event? Look no further. You know them. You love them. Stutterbox Productions is here to help. They always have an excellent team that is always busy and in motion behind the scenes in the Midwest, and they have plenty of shows lined up. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Stutterbox Productions' Facebook page for all of your needs today. Boom shakalaka boom. What's up, everybody? This is McAllister's podcast. I'm your host, always Coleman McAllister, doing another solo episode today. I do have some guests coming in later that are going to be up next week. I definitely could have just had a guest episode today, but since I'm a narcissist and I'm more important than everybody, no, I'm kidding. No, I've actually been having this internal dialogue for a little while now, thinking about where I want the show to go direction-wise, and I really am kind of just getting to the point where I think the focus is going to be more on kind of the in-house, focusing more on, our other podcasts that we have, the Guts and Gore podcast, the Unhinged and Uncensored podcast with Lola Savage. Just having multiple platforms has kind of just taken me away from the grind of I need to have 2 guests a week, and all this, and having this drive, and that drive is still there to find people in the state who are willing to have discussions. I'm not saying I'm not going away from that completely, but there's a point where you realize that, there's only so much that can be gained in some conversations. When I find myself having the same discussion about drug legalization or religion 20 different times with 20 different guests, and nothing really seems to get across to anyone, it gets frustrating to a point. And, and I don't want to silence anyone. I don't want to take away free speech like that. That's the complete opposite of what this platform stands for. But I do want to be a little more, I shouldn't even say selective. I just want to kind of have more reign and more control over what we do here. So that's a long-winded way of saying that we're going to just be having more of these slow type of episodes. It's going to be kind of what comes on the podcast. I'm sorry, I'm a little tense coming into this. I just had an entire thing happen where my lemonade spilled over my entire desk. My fucking tray was back there. I don't have very much. So donate. Donate, please. Donate to Coleman's Weed Fund. But yeah, I one of the things I wanted to talk about here today on the solo episode, for those who's, I appreciate everyone who tunes into these episodes. All of our content that we do, I know me sitting here on a microphone, to most of the world, nobody gives a fuck about that. But for the people who do, and the people who continuously engage and tune in, y'all are the shit. I appreciate you, every single last one of you. But the thing I wanted to talk about today is kind of a weird one. This is kind of a topic that, about a year ago, or not even a year ago, I think it was around New Year's, or it was the end of January. I made this post about dry January, and I kind of in that talked about this discussion of no fap or whatever. And I don't even like the no fap movement. I think it's kind of a lot of crazy religious bullshit, honestly, in my opinion. But just the practice of abstaining from masturbation. And I know that that's something that is weird. It's taboo. I was thinking about this before I recorded. There are 2 kind of trains of thought. Not trains of thought, but types of people or groups of people that are gonna turn away or detest to this subject. The person who's oh, I can't believe that you're putting this on the internet, talking about your intimate. Oh shit, I didn't even hit record on that. That's fine. Talking about your intimate type of stuff, on the internet. How could you fucking do that? And just exposing that kind of thing. And then there's going to be the other group that's well, dude, bro, or like, that's pretty gay. You're not jerking it, man. What the fuck's wrong with you? You're not jerking it? You asexual, bro? You asexual? Out of sex? No. No, I mean, look, I don't know. I guess I just kind of wanted to just have a little decompressor. I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe this type of episode. I guess, earlier this Wednesday, about 3 days ago, I hit the 1 year mark, and I didn't know if I wanted to do an episode about it. But here I am doing an episode about it. Because, I think the times that I have talked about this subject, people have actually reached out to me, listeners, and appreciate it. So somebody out there at least appreciates it. So I figured I'd do it, right? I figured I would talk about, what it's like, I guess. And kind of, I guess part of why I didn't know if I wanted to do this or not is because I don't know if it's necessarily like a really positive outlook. I mean, frankly, I guess the whole idea of sobriety, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me as someone who is both a libertarian minded person who thinks that, even drugs like heroin and methamphetamine and fentanyl should be used and distributed by anyone and used by anyone to however they see fit. And that includes pornography. And also from the train of thought of atheism, where a lot of the 12-step programs, a lot of the groups that you find that talk about abstaining from porn use or sex addiction or whatever, there is that religious bent to them. There is this vibe of this is shameful, this is wrong. Like, and it almost gets to the point where it's like it shits on your sexuality, and I don't agree with that. I don't even really think I need to explain why. That's a dangerous subject when you look at LGBTQ or whatever, right? So it's been a weird space I've been in. I can't really say, like, all these people have these stories, right? That like all these people go on YouTube and like, oh, no fap, and this is why I think the no fap community is just kind of retarded. Like anyone I've met that's like been in that is just an idiot. Like, I'm sorry, like just at face value, they're just a moron. Like talking about how their chakras are lined up and how like, the semen retention or whatever. And like, that's kind of another thing is I'm in a pretty healthy sexual relation, a very healthy sexual relationship. Well, relationship that is sexual. I should say, someone I'm very comfortable with. So I don't have that same problem. Right. And like, cause that's the thing, right? I think if you're a single guy, like I don't think porn is the end all be all. I don't think you're going to completely fuck yourself if you watch porn. I do think that it's a highly addictive thing that 95+% of people are going to get lost in at some point. I really do worry about, the societal implications of, the global acceptance of porn, which isn't necessarily bad, but it leads to problems, right? I guess where I'm going with this is it's not fucking black and white cut and paste. Like, and that's kind of what I hate about this whole discussion. I mean, from either side, it's just like this is like a cut and paste. This is what's going to happen if you go this way. This is what's going to happen when you do this way, right? It's either harmless or it's harmful. And I don't think that you can really attribute to that. Okay, like for me personally, right? I was someone who was spending money that I didn't have on porn, on videos, on cam girls, whatever. And I think that's a different line, right? That's a different line than somebody who just, beats his meat once a day. Like they're just at the end of the day, they're de-stressed. They just one time they fucking go Pornhub, do the thing. And for those who do watch porn, I recommend not being on Pornhub. I mean, granted, they're all probably bad, but they explicitly had a huge lawsuit that got filed against them for having basically a bunch of underage videos that they knew were underage and they didn't do anything about it. It was a whole fucking thing. I remember like 3 years before I quit watching porn, I exclusively went off of Pornhub because it was just, it was just like that. And I think that's kind of the thing that you realize. And like, I guess with the OnlyFans stuff, it's a little better, but even in that, there's just so much exploitation in the porn industry and people just being treated poorly. And I remember one time, because here's the thing, I haven't, masturbated in a year, right? But I've had times where I've broken, right? I've had times where I've, just watched porn videos. I've never interacted with them, but like it got, and that's kind of the thing about my addiction, right? Is it got to a point where it became completely separate from sex, and it was just like, it was like a car, or like, I don't know, it was just something that you became transfixed on visually. So I would find myself doing that kind of in my year. Like I would have days where I would break, it'd be really bad, and I would just like go watch porn. Not jerk off to it, just watch it for like a little bit. And then I would get bothered. I would go down that whole spiral, right? What was my fucking point? God damn it. What the fuck was my point with that? Was I just talking? I don't fucking know. God damn it. That fucking lemonade threw me off. I came to this fucking, like, I'm not going to smoke before the episode. I spilled the lemonade. And then that ruined the episode. The lemonade ruined the episode. Not my emotional fragility. The lemonade. The lemonade is what ruined the episode. And that's another thing about it, right? Is like, I'm not a fucking sober guy. I'm California sober. I smoke weed like a chimney. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that advocate. I'm not that advocate for year one type of guy, right? But the I guess the nature of the addiction changed. And I wonder if that's just who I think it's to the point now. This is kind of the weird thing. It's to the point now where I'm not even really that. I mean, I still am, but I'm not really that. It's not that appealing to me because it's all the same. All these women are the same. All these videos are the same. It's the same fucking thing. It's like draining your money. And like, I finally, like about a month ago, like figured that out in my mind. I finally figured out the puzzle of like, and like, figure out the robots to be like, okay, Coleman, this is the same fucking thing, right? I guess that's kind of just why I think the whole SAA or AA thing is just bullshit. Because I think eventually, I think it's as simple as this. We as humans develop and adapt. And if you have something that is affecting your life negatively, you can either be the person to change it or you're not the person to change it. And if you're not the person that's going to change it, I mean, that sucks. And because that's the thing that every fucking like addict group will admit. It's like a lot of people won't succeed in this, but they're like, yeah, it still works. Like that's the problem with religion, right? Is they take that cognitive dissonance. They're like, it's not it's not the nature of our program, right? Like the idea that we're just making people feel like shit about themselves every time they have a sexual urge, like that. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the fault of our program. And that's a thing that I've found that's like positive about a lot of the stuff that I read and a lot of the stuff that I find is I think you see more and more of it, like just acknowledging like, hey, you know what? Like there's some biological thing that porn is tapping into, right? That these thirst traps are tapping into. And you don't need to feel like a piece of shit about it anymore. Like, and if you like take a quote, like take a peek or whatever, like if you go down that, like for a little bit, like you don't need to feel like a complete piece of crap about it. I think that's beneficial. I think that's something that I've finally in the last month, like realized and has like helped me. So I'm here. I'm not perfect. I'm not great. I I've done some shitty things. I don't know. It's like I said, I'm not the yogi of wisdom here. And here's another thing that I've been trying to do recently. I've been trying to find other methods of support, because another thing that I've discovered is that you cannot do the whole fucking thing by yourself. Or like you and a partner. Like you need like someone who is on the outside. I mean, like I have a therapist, but like even beyond a therapist. So I've been and that's been kind of a difficult thing for me. Is like trying to find venues that are A, non-religious, and B, not going to be like dismissed. Like, it's hard to find the middle ground between those two ideas, right? That's something I've been really struggling. Like my whole year, this whole year of discovery is just that's been just a real downer, a real thing that's really just stifled, whatever for that. Is it getting tense? Is it getting tense yet? No, not even. No, it's the fucking lemonade, man. The lemonade. It's the fucking lemonade. Ruined the goddamn episode. Or maybe my brain's just fried from the weed. I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. But this, yeah. So we're here a year. We're here a year. I'm not an expert. I got nothing to offer. If you feel like it's really deterring, or if it's really damaging your life, and it probably is, seek advice, quit. If religion works for you, I guess good, fine. I don't really like that. I wish there was a better way. Actually, fuck that. No. I instantly regret that. I was like, And that's kind of a funny thing, right? Is like I find a lot of people have come through on the podcast who have preached religion as being a means to like be sober or whatever. Have like, I think almost all of them, I've seen all of them relapse on social media. And it's like, yeah, because you're like, that would be like if I was like, I'm going to quit for Harry Potter, or I'm going to quit for Aragon from the Lord of the Rings. Like it's a stupid idea. It's nothing. It's fucking nothing. And to wrap this up, I guess that's the point. Is there's nothing, okay? There's no sun shining at the end of the tunnel. I'm sorry. Like there's no good reason to do this besides surviving in your comfort and your level of succession. That's the only reason. You have to find the reason. There's no God. There's no group of people who are going to accept you for doing what you're doing. Like, it just is you. You have to look at these things that you're doing in your life, whether it's porn or drugs or what, and look at them and be like, is this damaging my life? And make that assertion yourself. And beyond that, I can't help you. I can't help you. I'm sorry. This is a downer. This is a downer of an episode. I'm sorry, but and this is why I didn't even know if I wanted to do this, because it's, I don't know. I'm glad. And look, I'll say, like, I'm glad I'm doing it, right? I really am glad. Like, there are a lot of positives to it. But look, like, I'm just like a negative thinking person. I've been diagnosed with negative thinking, not like officially, but like every fucking person I've talked to, right, is like, yeah, you're negative as fuck, kid. Get some God in your life. Speaking of positivity, one thing that has been kind of weird the last week is I got a new kitten. His name's Opie. He's an orange cat. He's a male orange cat. 9 weeks as of today, actually. Or, well, is it 12 weeks now? If it was 9/11? Nah, I don't know. But yeah, it's tapped in this weird feeling. And here's the thing. For like a day, I was like, maybe I could have a kid. That lasted less than 24 hours. And I was like, fuck this. This is already too much for me to handle. Like, I don't know how people can have kids. I don't know how they can do it, but get an animal. Here, going back to porn, get an animal, right? if you don't have an animal, like that's one of the best things you can do for like any kind of addiction or any hard thing you're going through. Get a fucking animal. Like that shit will force you to get your ass in gear, because you literally have something that depends on you for its livelihood. And like it's kind of the same mentality of having kids, right? But it's not, because it's not a human life. You're not like, jeopardizing, a human person's psychology for your own personal comfort, right? But so like an animal's good for that, I think. Get an animal, get a pet. So yeah, we have 4 in the house, and I thought I had the anxiety. I had because I was like on board for the cat, and I can admit this now that we've gotten the cat. I was on board for the cat, but I was kind of not. There was like this part of my head that was like, this is gonna go badly. This is gonna be chaotic, a disaster. Oh my God, it's been the complete opposite. It's been great. It doesn't seem like too many animals. Opie, the kitten, is cuddly. He's also playful, and like, he's a fucking asshole sometimes, but you just shut him up. And the food is the hardest part right now. Like trying to have 4 different animals, keep their food separate, and keep them on different schedules and stuff. That's something we're trying to figure out right now. So yeah, really one of the last things I wanted to talk about, actually, let's end on that one. So, something I wanted to address, about a recent episode I put out, episode 199, entitled So-Called Freethinkers, because I haven't listened back to the episode since this, so I don't really know. I'm kind of just going based off of whatever, but there were some fellow atheists who were upset by what I said, by some of the things that I said. And I just want to kind of talk about the whole idea of generalization, right? Generalization does not mean that when I'm saying a group of people en masse, a majority of them tend to think a certain way, vote a certain way, look a certain way, whatever. That's not saying that I believe every single person aligns with that. I'm simply saying that that's what generalization means. It's a majority of the people happen to have this correlation. And I think that's relevant in a lot of cases. And so I look, I had some experiences online that were stupid, and the people that I was battling with online are stupid. And I think in my frustration, in the middle of that whole thing, I put out an episode, right? Because I didn't have a guest, I needed content. It was the day before it was due, and I was like, fuck it. I'm in the middle of this war on Facebook with all these fellow atheists, and it's pissing me off because they're retarded. So I'm going to make an episode about it. And that's what I did. And that's what I do a lot of times. And a lot of times I get backlash. And I still do it for some reason. I don't know why. But I'm still here. So that's what happened, right? And so some people were naturally, as they usually are, were upset by that. And look, I'll say this. I do not think that, like, by and mass, on scale, the atheist community is anything like these people that I debated with online. Like, I was on Facebook, the worst platform you could have a debate, and it was stupid. It was short-sighted. And I think I maybe even acknowledged that in the video. Like, because I think even the people that I had disagreements with, I think if me and them were sitting in a room face to face, that conversation would go differently. I mean, like, and I should know this better than anyone, right? I mean, I've had people come into and sit next to them and interview them that are like, they are a certain way online. I'll even like prompt them about something that they have said online, and their response is like, it's a different tone. It's like more structured. Like there's a pressure in the room, right? There's a pressure in the room when you're with someone in person rather than online. So yeah. So and I think one of these days we're gonna have Jason Bennell, who is not the head, but the press officer for the Iowa Atheists and Free Thinkers organization. I'd love to have him in again and talk with him about stuff. And if there's any other atheists who have some kind of prominent role in the state of Iowa who want to come talk about it and all that, or religious people, like, yeah, I'm down to a point. I definitely I don't know. There's some guests. I really think I had to rethink some of the guests that come on the podcast. Because I'm sick of having the same conversation 3 times with some of these people that and not on scale, just these certain parts, we'll just go over religion again. And it's okay, nobody's minds have been changed again. Okay. Anyways, so that's my rant about generalizations. I.e., chill the fuck out. Chill the fuck out. Okay, last thing before we wrap this bitch up. Guys, I'm doing something this next weekend, this coming Saturday. At the time this episode drops, it'll be this Saturday. We are doing I think the 17th or 18th. Let me look at that real quick. I have the computer right in front of me. The 18th, yes. So the 18th from noon to midnight, I'm Iowa Central Standard Time. I'm going to be doing a live stream on YouTube. Just going to be doing some gaming, some chatting, that type of shit. And the goal of that is to promote the new movie that we're trying to make, The Chronic Crusader, where Kim Reynolds is the villain for governor. The governor of Iowa is the villain against our 2 stoner superheroes. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm finalizing the script right now. I have a couple homies that are reading it over for kind of some last minute note stuff. So I'm hoping in the next few weeks we'll have the script finalized, wrapped up. I've had a lot of the cast and crew hitting me up, wondering what's going on. I want to say I do kind of feel really bad for a lot of the people that are involved in this. I feel like we took a lot of steps too early in the I feel like I planned everything way before I had even a speck of the money. So that's been kind of something I've been playing catch up on, trying to figure that whole thing out, and that's where the rewrites have come in, right? Trying to figure out in the script where we can save money. I think I talked about, or maybe I talked about that in I think it was Scott Sipker. Yeah, I think it was when I got interviewed by Scott Sipker. I talked to him about, the process of, making a movie it's a thing. It's a money machine, right? Anyone can have that creative input and can make the 300-page fucking odyssey of a script, right? But nobody, if you can't fucking film it, then what's the point? So that's kind of what I've been doing with that lately. So please go support that project. Go support the Chronic Crusaders. Go support our other 2 podcasts, Unhinged, Uncensored, with Lolo Savage, and the Guts and Gore podcast, where we dissect horror films, the goriest and the grisliest, grisly, right? Yeah, I'm fucking retarded. I can never. I don't even know why I do this. And yeah, and finally, McAllister's, the one you're watching right now, every Monday at 7 p.m. We got Patreon. I'm fucking behind as fuck on the Patreon. For those who have subscribed to it, I'm sorry. We're working on it. And yeah, if anybody listened to this episode, especially the kind of the stuff I was talking about in the beginning, and that really connected with them, and they want to talk about it, shoot me a DM, man. Shoot me an email. McAllister's@gmail.com. You can shoot me an email there, and let's chat. I'm here for you. I'm here for everyone. That's I feel like I'm overselling that. I feel like here's the thing is I say that, but get more than 5-10 messages, I'm out. I'm tapping out. Sorry, you're gonna find someone else. I'm kidding. No, yeah. We try. we try to be kind, all right? I don't know what the fuck I'm saying anymore. All right. Peace, everybody. Have a good night.